Hello and welcome to A VO's Journey. This is episode 94, and I'm your host, Anthony Pica. This podcast is all about helping the new and upcoming voiceover artist sidestep all of the crazy explosions that happen when you are trying to run a voiceover business. Anyways, caught me on that one. I didn't know if I was going to pull that one out. But tonight, I want to talk to you about something that really is on my mind, and that is fear. And, you know, it's interesting in the context of what I'm talking about is, you know, we all experience fear no matter what level we are at. You know, that stuff can creep in, the doubt, the worry, am I doing enough? Will all of this last? You know, will next month be as good as this month? Will next year be better than this year? Will everything go up or go down? Will, I succeed or will I fail? Will I get the job or won't I? You know, it's so much happens in our minds. And, I want to talk about that tonight, how that affects our business. And I think how controlling it, and not necessarily controlling it, but what you do about it matters. All right? All right, so let's dive in, get a little deep about it tonight. All right, let's do it.
This is VO's Journey. With your host, the incomparable Anthony Pica.
So, I am so excited to be doing another podcast episode, 94. Man, we are close, you guys. We are close to 100 episodes. I mean, wow. I know we got like 6 more to go, but really, 94 episodes of A VO's Journey. If you are still, you know what, if you started at the beginning when I started this and you are still listening, first off, God bless you, because that's pretty amazing that you are still with me. And second off, I would love to hear from you, even if you if you're in the Facebook group and you message. If you're not in the Facebook group, it's A VO's Journey. Just go on to Facebook and join our Facebook group. Make sure you answer the questions. They're easy questions. They're just questions about how you found, it's like how you found the group, type in, you heard the podcast. And, if you're a voiceover artist, how long you've been doing it. Just general questions so that I can, better help you. And anyways, so if you're there, go and get in the Facebook group, or even just message me and let me know that, you know what, man, you have been a lifer of the podcast. And I don't know, I'll figure out, maybe I need to send you something, or maybe we need to get some gear. Maybe it's time that we get some voiceover gear for A VO's Journey. And AP Productions. That's the company, by the way. That's my LLC is Anthony Pica Productions LLC, but AP Productions. So anywho, getting to all of the stuff, I just wanted to thank you. And we're almost to 100. I got to figure out something to do for 100. Maybe if you have some suggestions too about what we can do for the 100th episode, send me a message. Let me know. So anyways, getting back to the topic tonight is fear. And, I debated whether or not to talk about this with you guys, because I do believe that what we think about, what we talk about, does have real, tangible power. But at the same time, I started this podcast with the idea that it was not going to be a polished podcast. It was going to be about what I was actually going through in my mind, in my business, what was happening as a voiceover artist or as a business owner, as a person, and to talk about it with you so that, you could relate, or hopefully take what I'm going through and not maybe feel as alone as, we sometimes do, as I have sometimes felt alone. And, I want to talk about the fear of what we do, and then what we can do to push past that fear. And maybe fear is not as bad as we think. So fear is kind of one of those things where it is like, it's like this nagging partner, right? This nagging partner that might go away for a while but comes back. or that friend that's not really a friend, but they go away but they come back, you love them, you don't want to let them go, but you wish they didn't come back, but they do. And they just keep bothering you, and they always seem to come back at the worst time, especially when things are going well. So it's easy to fear the future. Perfect example, I have had a really great month. I've had a really good run. And, things going forward, you always, I don't know why we might doubt ourselves. I do believe denying our emotions and our feelings is dumb. I think confronting them is the smartest thing. And, that's why I'm talking about fear tonight, because, I have those emotions too. What if everything I've done to this point disappears tomorrow? What am I doing right now to take care of that? What am I doing to plan for that? And if that does happen, how will I handle myself? How will I pull myself out? And part of me is like, man, that's such a negative way to look at it. But then if you stop and think, is it really negative if you look at it from the standpoint of maybe it's not bad? Maybe fear is a friendly reminder that you need to stop being stuck on yourself, that things are going well, that you got to push yourself harder than you've ever pushed before, no matter how good it's going. Maybe fear is a reminder to be humble. And I like that. I think that makes sense to me. That fear is a reminder to stay humble. It's a reminder that no matter who you are, what you've accomplished, what you are doing, that at any given moment in time, something can happen that you have to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and get up and fight again. And I think it's those moments that we pick ourselves up that define us. And I think fear is that friendly companion, not an evil companion. There's that saying, the only thing to fear is fear itself. But I think if I stop and think about it, I think fear is not what frightens me, actually. I think what frightens me is that I won't react to my fear. And I won't react in the way that I want to react. And maybe this goes back to when I was young. I'll get personal with you. We all have our past, and we all have things. When I was younger, my mom and dad didn't have the best relationship. My dad was pretty abusive. And it's a story like so many others. And my mom did everything she could, and she got us away from him. But, I remember those moments and the times we went through during and afterwards and all this stuff about those moments when bad things were happening, and that fear crept in for some odd reason. I don't know if this was from God or this was just something that happened, but it was one of those things where I felt at those moments the calmest and the most clear-headed to think about what I needed to do, how to get through that situation, and I was the person that was going to be the one who helped everyone make it through. Now, as a kid, we all take on different roles, I guess, and so that was the role I guess I took on. And I think to me, now in my life as an adult, what I fear is not fear, but it's what I won't do when it happens, or what I will do. And I think for me, that's interesting. And maybe that it's a variation of fear stopping you from doing something. But, I think to me, in our business, in the context of our voiceover business, so much I hear, here's an example. I hear so many people talk about, I don't want to start marketing because my voiceover demo is not ready. Well, I don't know. I mean, I know most of you know my story, but if you don't, I started on ACX. I had nothing. I had no demo. In fact, I didn't even know what a stupid voiceover demo was. I had no clue. Because I had been an actor, yes, but being an actor does not mean you have any idea about voiceover. Because, being on stage, you don't have a demo, not like that. I mean, and especially not a while ago, there was no, I mean, people didn't have really video demos unless you were on the movies. I didn't have a video demo or anything like that, a headshot. But no, that was somebody's demo, and then you auditioned, you live auditioned. That was the way it went. So I didn't even know I didn't even have anything when I started doing stuff on ACX, and I was able to get work, start to build my business without a demo, without the perfect picture. Now I tell everybody to get a professional picture, and that's because that's exactly what advice I would have given myself. But that doesn't mean you have to wait. Doesn't mean you have to fear what people will think of you if you don't have it. And what's funny is I remember early on having success in voiceover and getting a lot of praise from the voiceover community, which was wonderful, and it helped keep me going. But I remember about the praise was that, that I was, doing more, getting more work than everybody at that time, or how was I getting so much, or how was I doing 2 or 3 books a week, and how was I doing all this stuff, and I look back on it and I'm like, all I just remember was a lot of uncomfortable work. When I say uncomfortable, it was a lot of work. Now I felt like at the time, looking back on it, the only thing I could tell you is I had like a drive, like a burning desire to prove to myself that I could do it. And it was greater than any fear. And it became the point where what I started to actually fear was that I couldn't keep going. Do you know what I mean? I started to fear that I couldn't keep it up because I knew that what I was doing was creating a result. But I knew that I was going to have to keep going long enough in order to do that. And it's something that I had not done really in a long, long, long time because I had failed at trying a lot of other businesses and things that were not the business I was meant to be in. I tried a lot of other stuff that was not revolving around entertainment and marketing and business. It revolved, I owned a restaurant at one point. I did multi-level marketing and different things. Like we've all done different stuff. And I was not very successful at those things. And I wanted to be successful at this because I knew this meant something to me. So, and fear has been that companion along the way that always taps on your shoulder when things are going well, and saying, it might not go so well. But that's the thing, right? I mean, if you stop and think about it, that's actually, if you look at the positive part of fear can be that person telling you you're doing great, but you know what? If you don't keep it up, you're going to fail. So get off your butt and keep working. Keep going. Get back up. You haven't gotten any work today. Don't let that upset you, or let it upset you. Get angry and get your butt in gear. It's funny. I know we all have our own, and it's interesting because I am definitely motivated a certain way, just like you're motivated a certain way, and your spouse is motivated a certain way, your friends, your children, your parents are. We're all motivated in different ways. I remember when I was little, my grandfather, he used to piss me off so much. Brilliant man. He was one of those old guys who, might know who I'm talking about. He was one of those old guys who was the biggest SOB, but helped every single person. Right? He was a butthead, but he helped everyone. Right? So you couldn't help but love him and also be pissed off at him sometimes, but you loved him because of all the things he did for everybody. But he was also a butthead. I'm sure you know the type of people I'm talking about. But anyways, so I would work with him. He would always, because he was always working, like he was always helping people for free. It was just always like, he would always help people. Like he'd always go mow people's lawns. He'd always working at the church. He was always helping it didn't matter. It was the school district superintendent. It was the police. It was the parishioners at the church. It was whoever. He was always just helping people with whatever they needed. And I would come along with him. And I remember he would upset, like he would anger me so much just by, telling me, oh, you're not doing a good job. You're barely doing this. You don't finish what you start, blah, blah. He would say all this stuff to me, right? And I would get so mad. So then because I was so mad and I just wanted to prove him wrong, I would work so hard and I would accomplish so much. And I asked him I said, why do you do that to me? He said, because I know that once you get mad, you work more than anybody else I've ever seen. Now, you and I can debate whether that's, very manipulative and not cool for a younger person. But, it is what it is, right? But as I look about that now as an older guy, as an older man, and I look and I think to myself, I'm motivated a certain way. And if I can keep myself motivated, right, I know that I will accomplish everything. But to me, that fear of not being motivated, that scares the hell out of me. And, I see it playing out. And I think it's probably based upon my past, and the things that I know about where does that motivation come and worry about things happening. But again, it's not weak to admit that you're scared. It's not weak to admit that you have something to lose. It's not weak or wrong to admit that something can go wrong and that you're going to have to fight with every ounce of your being to keep it. It's not wrong to say, you got to walk through the crap and the junk and the shit in order to get out the other end. There's nothing wrong with that. And that's not weak. I've learned that because I have met some incredible people who are doing everything they can to make it in this world, and they have their backs against the wall and they're fighting. They're working their butts off from beginning of the day to the end of the day, getting an hour to 2 hours of sleep, and they're fighting. I've met them. I know them now, and I am so humbled by them and by what they do. And I think to myself, I'm lucky. I am so lucky. And that I want to make me the best that I can be so that I can help those people. So what I'm trying to say to you is if you have fear about marketing yourself, if you have fear about not being a good enough actor, if you have fear about your sound quality being good enough, take that fear and let it drive you. Take that fear and let it slap you around some, all right? Because then you'll know what you're made of. If you back down to the fear, stand up, fight it. Don't let it go away. I think when fear goes away, you know what happens? We become lethargic. We become complacent. That's what scares the hell out of me is complacency. Because then I know if I'm complacent, I'm just going to sit and play video games all day long and not do a damn thing. And where at first that might sound nice to do that for a while, I know that it will torture me. So stand up and fight and use the fear. Take the fear and use it. I don't know if you've had those moments. Here I go. I'm getting on my soapbox. But I don't know if you've had those moments in your life where you knew like fear came upon you and it drove you and you said, you know what? I'm going to do this. Who cares? Who cares what people say? Who cares if this sounds good? Who cares if this is right? Who cares if this is wrong? I'm going for it. I don't give a crap anymore. I'm just going to do it. And the crazy thing is when it happens, you're like, oh crap. Boy, that was actually pretty cool. That wasn't even that bad. I mean, even if it was bad, you come out the other end thinking, hell yeah, I did it. Heck yeah, I did that. That's what fear does for you. And that's why we need fear And we shouldn't run away from fear. We should ask for fear so that we can use it to help us succeed and to help others succeed. Okay. Well, as I was listening to myself say that last part, if you didn't hear the rest of it, you might think I'm crazy. And you know what? You might think I'm crazy anyways, because I think I'm a little bit crazy too. But I hope that this podcast gave you some insight about me and that I still have a lot of fear about all kinds of things. But I don't want fear to be a bad thing. I want it to be a friendly companion that keeps helping me move forward and not stop and sit down and say, you know what, things are going pretty good. And I don't mean saying that I can't be happy about my life, but mean saying that I'm not done yet on this earth. I'm not finished helping people. I'm not finished changing this world. All right, you guys, you have a wonderful, wonderful night. Stand up, use fear, and make it your friend and not your enemy. All right, have a great, great night. Peace.